I'm going to need a wee and like a sweet.
Okay.
Why are you like a
You
four-year-old?
go and do sweet. Go and do sweet and a wee, and then come back.
What I went through mentally to just hang in there and stick at it. I don't read my comments. I don't read the newspapers. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know it. I can feel like even though some are serious, you could feel the vultures. I wouldn't want to say anything that would draw any more attention to myself or pressure on myself than I put on myself already. Mum, Eddie said we should tell the North Korean embassy just to f*** off, and my mum, she just didn't really understand. This is mind-blowing stuff. And we need to take a break after this, because my mouth is fucked.
Hello, Dream Team. Welcome along to this week's episode of The Good, The Bad and The Rugby, brought to you by our very good friends at Continental Tires. Normally we have a script and we have some ideas and we have some concepts, but I think it's fair to say that this week's show could go anywhere. As we say, a very warm welcome to the one and only Mr. Jonny May.
Hello, guys. Do I look down? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't look anywhere. Don't look anywhere. Just look around.
Just look around.
Thank you very much for having me.
Look at the air and whistle.
You're like Ron Burgundy. What do I do with my hands? Do I put my hand?
What do I look at? One eye on that one, one eye on that one.
No, thank you very much for having me. Subtly, I'm wearing a Movember hat.
Yeah.
And obviously, really subtly, got a moustache.
Yeah.
So,
Rhett Butler, Pablo Escobar, and someone like Burt Reynolds, you're knocking them all out of the park.
Yeah, well, maybe.
I
But
love how
anyway,
you're saying subtly.
I actually thought it was Xander when I first walked in.
I love how you're articulating on a video podcast what you're wearing. Like, I quite like it. If it was just audio only.
some people watch it though.
Everybody
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
it. I'm going to go on the
okay.
social media clips. So
Okay.
basically, everyone knows you're wearing a porno hat and a porno moustache.
Okay, but anyway, great charity. Men's health, physical, testicular cancer. Pointing at my testicles.
What's testicular? What's testicular?
Yeah, testicular.
I don't have testicles.
But also other things like men's mental health as well. So great charity. If you like my Mo, just give some money to Movember. There you go.
Have you got a page that they can support
I
you?
will do. Just Google Movember.
Oh, so you're happy to give it direct. You don't want it
It
attributed
doesn't
to your
care.
fans.
I don't care where
Oh,
it
do you
goes.
not?
Just
Okay.
Movember's fine.
See, man of the people.
Because I only did it if I got to put my hand up and said, look
man
how
of the
clever I
people.
am.
Look how much I've raised.
Yeah, look how
It's
much.
a
He
trying
looks
to- it's a
very different to that
self-good deed.
photo, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Look at it. Look, ladies and gentlemen, listen. I mean, can
You used to enjoy life
Yeah,
back
look at
then,
you.
didn't you,
God, I
Johnny?
used to be a
You used to be quite
naive,
fun.
happy, pure soul.
Do you want to explain to everyone where that's gone? Because you become very sceptical. Now you believe everything's just news, don't you?
Yeah, it's just, 10 years, 15 years of cynical rugby pressure cooker will change a man, won't it?
Do you reckon you got like PTSD from it?
Oh, certainly.
When did I think I remember, but there's no good news, there's no bad news.
Yeah,
there's
just
just news.
news.
When was
did
that
you
story?
read that?
That was I got into like Buddhism stuff along with other things.
As I said,
What
this
other
show-
things?
The one that came to my head was North Korea, but that's
Didn't you go on holiday? Didn't you go on holiday to
no.
North Korea?
Should we go? What should we start on? Buddhism
As I said,
or
this show
North
could
Korea?
Well, start
go.
with-
This show could go absolutely
we'll
anywhere.
start
We've
with-
started
I'm
with
actually-
testicular cancer in North
No,
Korea.
it's testicular.
Testicular.
Tell us about
Can we
Buddhism first.
breathe and can we go through these stories like one by one and kind of
I have a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly,
on
the North. I'm
Let's
happy
start
to
with North Korea.
North Korea, right? So North Korea. Let's mention Ben Teo. I'm going to go back to 2017 Six Nations. He's sort of new in the squad.
Yeah.
Funny guy. He's a great guy.
Lovely guy.
Are we going to talk about how he exited the England squad?
Would you like
cover
to
that?
cover
You
that?
can
Yeah,
go
yeah,
wherever
we
you
can
like,
cover
Johnny.
that.
This is your show.
This
Mate,
is
no,
just-
she's
this
to
is
Tom.
g-
We need now. So we've got first. We've got North Korea, Buddhism, Ben Teo leaving the England squad
Yeah.
because I don't want to. We can
Write
go
this
everywhere.
all down. Right. So now. Right. So
So Ben Teo,
Ben Teo,
why
new
he
to the
left?
squad.
Yeah.
We play. This is a great insight as to what's changed me from that man there to the man I am here. These sorts of experiences, moments in time, phases of life. We play France opening game of the Six Nations 2017. Like, it's wet, bit of a crappy game. I think I gave a high tackle away and got a yellow card. I came off of that. Didn't really do anything wrong. I think I even remember, I think I got choke tackled. Eddie would have hated that. Anyway, Ben Teo came off the bench. He hit a lovely short line on a bob or a lead line under the post, scores. Like, boom, we win the game. Obviously, that's how it works. The press want to speak to him next week because he scored the try. So the press, Ben Teo, they're like, oh, so you're new in camp and new to the England team, and who you taking interest in, who you friends with. Ben Teo's saying like, oh yeah, so love it, the boys are amazing, like we're playing good rugby. Eddie's crazy, but he's a genius. And yeah, Jonny May, I've been rooming with him. He's an interesting guy. He's obsessed with North Korea. Just dropped it out there. So anyway, that like sort of settled in, and then next week I'm up for media, and they're like, so Jonny May, Ben's here, what a player he is, and what's this about North Korea? And I was like, yeah, he used to call it, it's an Australian thing, he called it docos. Yeah, Ben Teo sent me a load of YouTube stuff about North Korea, and I actually pick up a few facts from that place that stick with me now. Like, you're only allowed certain haircuts in North Korea. Everybody is 1, 2, 3, or so. Like, if you're born 0. No, you're born as a 1-year-old. So the second it goes to that, you don't have a birthday. So like, if you're born in 1990, you're 1. The second year, you're then 2. So you don't have a birthday. Weird things like that. Do you follow that?
Yeah.
Vaguely. I'm
So
trying
if you're
quite
born,
hard,
if you're
but yeah.
born on the 31st of December, you're
Yeah.
1.
I see.
The next day, you become 2.
Got you.
Nobody has birthdays.
Yeah. So everyone goes up a year
If
on
you-
January the 1st.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
the other things that happen are things like if you commit a crime, your child's and like it's like you
It's
have
a
got
family crime.
yes, you're genetically criminal, so you go to prison for things like that. But and chocolate biscuits were banned because they were becoming too powerful. They
Is this the
became a-
England camp or is this
No.
North Korea?
They are also banned at England camp.
David
Right.
Wilson
God.
managed to. He would have been great in North Korea smuggling chocolate biscuits.
Yeah, he would have done. But anyway, no, stop trying to get me in trouble.
Sorry.
I'm talking about North Korea.
Sorry.
Jesus.
What do you reckon Eddie's like if he would come and get revenge hit on you? You reckon you're
I didn't know what you were going to
They'll
say
send a
then.
hit-
So suddenly there's 2 girls that appear at an airport
Yeah.
with little
North
daggers.
Korean hit squad are going to take you out as you leave the offices of Good Bad
No,
Rugby?
let's get back to the story.
Right. Sorry.
So anyway, I'm saying, yeah, so Ben Teo sent me some docos, like, it's a really interesting place, I said. It's a fascinating country. I've taken a bit of an interest into it. King Johnham's a massive sports fan. That's also interesting. But no, it's just something that I've been filling my time with. You've got lots of, I'm obviously talking to the press, so I'm like, you've got lots of spare time in camp. So I've just been doing a bit on having a little read about North Korea and stuff. Nothing. It's just something to fill the time. Anyway, other things that happened within that campaign. After that France game, Eddie on the Tuesday or whatever takes me outside. He's like, so Jonny, you weren't good, mate. Not good, mate. So you're out the 23 this week. So we'll see you next week. Cheers, mate. That's sort of how it goes. So anyway, I go back to my room, pack my bags, just about to get in my taxi. Charlotte then comes and gets me. The team manager, and says, "Oh, you are in the 23. You're just on the bench this week." So those sorts of crazy moments in life that really do change you from that to me now. So anyway, I was on the bench. I'm detouring a little bit, but I'll get back to it. I was on the bench against Wales. It basically turned out that like Eddie wanted Jack Noel to play on the wing that week because Principality's smaller stadium, like Jack, good carrier off the ball, like gets, do you know what I mean? That sort of game. The following week was bloody Italy. I came back in for that game, but it was Ruckgate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yes. So then I don't touch the ball for 50 minutes, and Jack came on, and like he does what he scored 2 tries, and that was it. I was out the team for the rest of the campaign. But this is just how weird it was. Like I shouldn't have been kept in camp because I wasn't in the 23 or 24th or 25th man. But Eddie kept me in camp because I sang the team song, which actually started with a little bit with you and me.
Yeah.
So anyway, Gloucester had a Premiership game. I was away in Ireland with no purpose other than to sing the song if we won.
What was the song?
That's another story. Tom, get it on the list. God almighty, I'm going to need a drink of water. Maybe where's that?
Maybe a black eye.
Where's that?
That urn of water. Pace yourself, mate. It's all right. We've
Yeah,
got
I know.
time.
I don't normally speak this much.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should do. This is carry on.
So then, yeah, we go away to Ireland. We lose, but we win the championship. So I don't sing the song. Another moment. The next,
There's no purpose of you being
there's
there.
no purpose at all of me being there. I don't think I even got on the stage to win the, because it's when you lose that last game but win it. Quite odd. I don't think I even got on the stage for that. Felt a bit uncomfortable doing that. So the next morning, they believe this is another Eddie story. Is it Farnborough?
Farnborough Airport.
Private airport. We fly from there. You go like you charter a plane, you fly to whatever. We had after the last game of a campaign, like you get these WhatsApp messages through, like you've got this debrief. I had like everybody else is like, this is a sign that it's not going to be a good meeting for me. Everybody else's meetings start at 12 p.m. onwards. Mine was at 7 o'clock on my own. So I go down there at 7 o'clock a.m. So after that, so 7 a.m. Johnny's having a meeting, and then 12 everybody else is starting their meetings. So I'm like, oh great, that doesn't look.
Don't read anything into it.
Don't read anything into it. I'm not going to sleep tonight. Great.
That's basically again why you become more jaded.
Yeah,
That smiley, like fun.
So anyway, the crux of the meeting was I don't want it. I'm not hungry. I don't work off my wing. I'm slow. And he saw me at the Farnborough airport sucking a sweet. So, like, there's a bowl of sweets that you can take.
That's say if it was something else, that could have been very awkward at Farnborough Airport.
That's disgraceful.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what you're into.
Sucking on what?
Well,
no, but anyway.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, this is quite maybe there's people watching or listening to this podcast. When you fly off in an airplane, your ears pop. So my thought was, I'll take a sweet to suck to stop my ears popping on the plane. That's why the bowl of sweets is
pretty
there.
normal thing.
Yeah, pretty
to do.
normal. Yeah, it's not unheard of.
But like Eddie was like, "You're sucking on sweets, mate. You don't want it." I was like, "Oh, Eddie," I tried to explain. I was like, "Eddie, I took the sweet to stop my you're talking shit, mate." I'm like, wow. So anyway, I walk out of this meeting just like, what the hell? And anyway,
You thought he might be fucking with you. Definitely fucking with you. Like,
there was like a 12-month period where it was hell. It was not good. Like I was
And
a
how were you
rocket.
during that period?
Not good. On a serious note, like it's hard. Like that was a big part of why I ended up leaving Gloucester to go to Leicester. That was after that. Eddie was saying, "I'm never going to play for England again." Blah blah blah. Like hammering me. I'm slow. I don't work off my wing. He's sending propaganda out.
You ever go back at him?
I went back at him once. But
about the
that's
sweets?
put that on the list, Tom. The time I went back at Eddie. But I want to get honestly, I want to get back to this North because this is mind blowing stuff, and we need to take a break after this because my mouth is fucked.
As I
Right,
said,
so
this
anyway.
could go anywhere.
You can see you can see what's going to be the audio cut now.
Yeah.
I need to take a break out of this
Yeah.
because this is crazy.
Hold it higher. Right. So anyway, my head's fried.
we haven't even started. You've been
I
going
know.
13 minutes and 42 seconds.
My head's fried. I walk out there like a ghost. I'm slow. I don't work hard off my wing. I don't want it. I'm sucking on sweets. I've got to go back and play for Gloucester next week. I get back to Gloucester. Tins will remember outside of our changing rooms called the pits. Put it on the list. The change room's called the pits. Do you remember those like wooden?
Yeah,
That bit in the corridor where you've got your pigeonholes.
Yeah.
I get back to Gloucester. AD, you remember? Like they're all happy to see me, but thank God I'm back to some sort of comfort zone.
Don't forget you terrorised Adi. Don't forget that.
I also
So-
did other things, nice things for her.
Yeah, that's true.
Who was AD?
Team
Adi was
manager.
like the team manager. She's legend.
She came to my wedding.
Right, sorry, Paul. This is so multi-dimensional. I'm struggling
Can
to keep
I
up.
finish North Korea?
Can you
for a
come
second?
back to
you
North
keep
Korea?
coughing your lung up. Like,
I'm being,
Back to Jonny May.
It's black lunch. It's
He's
going
gonna
around.
die.
Well,
Black
it sounds
lunch
like
is going
Tins.
around
Black lunch.
Gloucester.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I get back to my pigeonhole, right, in Gloucester. There's a letter, like something off Harry Potter with a wax stamp and ribbon on it. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I opened it up. It's like something from the royal family. I open it up and it's a letter from the North Korean embassy. It's saying, "Dear Jonny May, so they must like this crazy country, a really good country. I love King John. Everything great. They must have like a Google alert for like when
course they
North Korea is
do.
talked
Yeah.
about in the press.
Oh, it's probably more extensive than Google Alerts. Well, I like your head up. Yeah, they've probably got
Something
secret
along
police.
those lines.
They currently live in your phone.
Yeah.
Dear Jonny May.
Yeah, dear Jonny May, we've seen recently that you have taken an interest to North Korea. We find this very exciting. We would love to invite you to the embassy to meet our dignitaries and presidents, talk about the history of the country, and visit the embassy, and maybe even organise a trip for you to come to North Korea. At this point, I'm like, whoa, what the? I am shitting myself. I'm like, what the? I'm like, it's quite. Like, I just didn't know what to make of it.
Adi, was this hand delivered?
A man
Was this
with
hand delivered?
anxiety already, who's already had his anxiety tweaked by Eddie Jones.
Yeah.
He's a wreck of his
So
normal
then-
self.
yeah.
And then one of the most potent dictatorships the world has ever seen is on your door.
Yeah. So anyway, then what does a 27-year-old with autism, ADHD, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress do in a moment like this? You ring your mum. So I ring my mum and I'm like, Mum, I've got a letter from the North Korean embassy. What am I going to do with this? And she's like, well, what you need to do is like, you need to get the RFU to reply, like with RFU letter heading, but it's like, do it properly. So then she like taught me into ringing Eddie to ask
Oh my God.
for a response. So I'm like ringing Eddie, like, hey mate, I've got a letter from the North Korean embassy here, and my mum's advised me that we need to respond to this like properly. He's like, oh yeah, mate. And I'm like, so what do you think we should say? He starts laughing. He's like, we'll tell him to fuck off, mate. And I was like, okay, all right. And so then I'm like, Mum, Eddie said we should tell the North Korean embassy just to fuck off. And my mum, like, she just didn't really understand
The humour.
but that's the North Korea story.
Right.
Did you ever go?
No,
Did you ever
I've
send-
lost my voice.
Did you send a response?
No.
So you didn't do anything at all?
No, that was
so
it.
North Korea is still waiting
Yeah.
for a response
I
from
would-
Jonny May.
That's very dangerous not to respond to North Korea.
Johnny, thank you very much for that. That was a loosener for us.
Yeah.
How are you?
What
Like,
was
you were a bit
second?
more-
What was second?
Buddhism.
Oh, we'll come back
Oh,
to
the Just
Buddhism.
News.
Just new. Do you want to do just news?
Because
I'm going to need a wee and like a sweet.
Why are you like a
You go
four-year-old?
and do sweet. Go and do sweet in a wee, and then come back.
We could do a Tinkle Talks.
I like to think I've had 20 years in the media, and I've had a bit of time learning how to construct an interview and where to. I've never had an opening 15 minutes like that.
But I think it's because all the things he listed that are going on, ADHD, autism, everything else that's going on, we've overloaded him with cameras and lights, given all the attention, and I think either you shy away from it or you just go turbo.
You try and look at every camera at once, plus tell every story you've ever known.
Dry your entire
all in
mouth.
one story.
You fit everything together. You then get overexcited, run out of things to say. Your mouth goes dry. Then you panic. You have to have an ice cream or lozenge, lie down. Then you've got to start talking again. And then you
Clean
don't
pair of
remember where you are.
pants.
Then you panic, and that's it. And you're dead.
Yeah. Is he going to come back?
No.
I don't know.
That's-
But his first Tinkle Talks that we'll go for is the first story that I got on when I was going through all the stories in my head on Johnny, and there are a lot.
Yeah.
But I knew that I was missing a lot. So Charlie Sharples came back to me going, we used to have quite a good player group, and we used to do a great Secret Santa and everything, but we also had a fine system, and one of the fines at one point was having to wash another player's car. And he ended up having to wash Charlie Sharple's car, but unbeknownst to Charlie, he had brought washing up liquid and a washing up sponge to do it. But also, what he'd done with the washing up sponge, it was one that had a scour side on the other side. He ended up using the scouring side, scratched the fuck out of the whole car, and then it cost him 500 quid to buff it all out so that Charlie could have his car back normally.
But that's the mark of man. Just
It's the
imagine
kind of thing
scouring a car. Just that
But at
silver
no point,
metallic
as soon
noise.
as you hit
That's
it-
what I mean. And you see the circles of scratches, and they aren't coming out, and you can hear the noise. Most normal people would go. This bloke would just go. That's fine. Carry on.
The whole car.
The whole car.
With the washing up sponge as well.
Something's fallen off.
Jesus, it's broken. This whole show is it's creaking a bit like a breaking up battleship. So, ladies and gents, we've recorded for 15 minutes. We've discussed a lot of North Korea. Johnny's had an ice cream and a lie down, and we're ready for chapter 2. Can we pick up then? Because you sort of started to get into your relationship with Eddie. How would you describe that? In retrospect,
Did it get better?
Yeah, no. So like,
How did you make it back from?
so
Siberia?
going back to the 2015, it starts at 2015 World Cup. Like personally for me, it was just an amazing experience. Like Hask obviously coming down in your anthem jackets to the test match decider between, who was it? Basically, we got to the day before selection, and it was out of Sam Burgess and Luther Burrell and Nick Easter and Ben Morgan. So we needed to do a trial game. And Hask came down and undermined the whole process by wearing his anthem jacket to the training session.
I made out like
You surprised me.
it was like a full test. We treated it like a test match.
metal
Got a
jacket.
full kit,
Yeah.
full everything, suits for post match. And obviously Stuart
Yeah,
Lancaster
he
did not
didn't like that.
did not like
But
that.
me being for me to have worked with Andy Farrell, like he took the stuff he taught me defensively. I thought Lanny did a great job. I thought the program was amazing. I thought he did turn things around. Great coaches, amazing home World Cup. We lose a game against Wales that like nine times out of 10 we win. We just on the day sport can happen that way. And then we play against Australia, who are just a better team. We were like a young team. The same team basically went to the next World Cup, but we were better and ready then.
So, but how does that lead on to Eddie? Eddie then comes in.
So then Eddie
clean
comes
broom,
in.
You start.
Eddie comes in. The nature of you do a World Cup, you go back to your club. I played the next week against. Could be an issue for us.
Let's get some more ice cream anytime.
I mean, it's a bit difficult if you can't ever speak. Have you? Is that not something that's haunted you throughout your career? You've just never spoken for 17 minutes consecutively.
I've never spoken about any of this. I've just bottled it up.
Did you think it's getting over emotional?
No.
Oh. Do you think your body's rejecting it because
I'm just not conditioned. I'm conditioned for stretching and recovery. I'm just not conditioned for talking.
Yeah. Which is ironically because I'm completely the opposite.
Yeah. So anyway, then you go back to your club. We're just talking about that, like, is it attrition? Is that the word? Attritionalness.
Yeah.
So then you finish the World Cup. I was on the bench up away at Newcastle the next week. So you just keep going and going. I then blow my knee out badly. ACL, PCL, lateral ligament. Had about 10 months out. Eddie comes in. And he, I just thought, oh, well, like, forget about England for now. I've got to try and get my knee back. It's like potentially a career-ending injury. But for whatever reason, Eddie would message me throughout that period of being injured. And I was just like taken aback by that. I was like, bloody hell, like, sorry, I'm like 10 months away from being fit. Eddie's written me a Christmas card. Eddie's messaging me. And I really couldn't believe it. And then I ended up 10 months out, played 2 Premiership games and came in and started the first autumn game against South Africa and scored a try in the corner, like my first touch. So it was like, wow, that's amazing.
So your relationship with Eddie started
well.
amazingly, but you were sort of talking about, obviously, things then going a little bit awry. Tell us about the time you went back at him, because 1 or 2 went back and it didn't work out very well for them. You think of potentially Alex Good and Danny Kerr, who obviously did eventually come back in. When you went back at him, what was the story and how was that received?
No, so then like I had that first autumn went well. I scored a couple of, like, I couldn't believe I wasn't at a full fitness, but I managed to play well. And then the next Six Nations is when it like sort of started with me. Like I said, I got dropped that game, like the head game of telling me to go home, but then I'm not on the, and then I come back in for it, and then I'm dropped, and then I stay to sing the song. So very much the rest of that season, I'd get messages from him late at night and voicemails and feedback. I remember there was one game at he made a point of coming to watch me play at Gloucester like 3 games in a row. And I remember...
Does he tell you he's coming as well?
Yeah.
Just to put pressure on?
No, Adi would say, oh, your mate's coming to watch you again.
It's like watching the unravelling of a human being. I've never watched the decline of someone.
So...
by the end of it, it would just be dead, just like sweating, and it would just go beep.
So
Adi said your mate's coming.
Yeah. So this is a strange one. I remember he sat there. He used to sit in the crowd, and we're playing Sale or something at home, and I miss a tackle, and it goes to the big screen. It's Eddie on the screen on his phone, and I'm thinking, oh no,
there's a message from me.
He's messaging me. I come in at half time. I looked at my Eddie Jones message. Learn how to tackle, mate. And I'm thinking, oh, no. So, like...
Why would you do that to someone like him? I've watched you panic over a polo minute and be able to speak. Being abused by your international coach during a game, that would be your unravelling.
So, like, then come the end of that season, quite a critical point in my career, really, I guess, because Eddie's telling me that I don't work off my wing and that I'm slow, but, like, I'm not.
Did you, actually, on a serious point, how worried were you after the knee injury that you were going to lose the pace? Because I know that you spend a lot of time, and that's your USP. And apart from changing direction as well, did you go back out to America?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did a stint in America, like 8 months, when I knew I'd need a bit of extra training at Michael Johnson Performance Center in Texas. Just amazing. And I actually went back there a few years later because I loved it so much. But like the lucky part almost is, I'd seen Ollie Morgan at Gloucester. Like we had Ollie Morgan at Gloucester who had a bad knee injury and retired him.
So that freaked you out?
But that was a good thing because I was like very worried. So I threw the kitchen sink at it. Like I remember the surgery's coming. I just bought Game Ready, Compex, recovery pumps, all the supplements in the world, just basically anything in my image rights company I spent on stuff like straight away to get it right. Like honestly, like I moved back into my parents. I was icing on I just went mental for it. I couldn't afford to lose a % of speed, or else I'm not going to be the same player. So
worked.
I went insane. I went into a mindset for 10 months.
I think you ever got out of it, did you?
No. But then those habits become sequential and part of what you do and habitual.
How much do you know what your scores were racing before you could?
No, so I can and this is I'd like to say this for people who do have those injuries. I did come back quicker. Young lads or guys who have a bad knee injury, an ACL or whatever, you 100% can get it right, get it better, come back a better athlete, because I think I'd ran like a 10.2 meters per second pre-injury. Sorry.
It is going. Right, Tins, tell us a little bit about a young Jonny May coming into Kingsholm.
Okay.
Johnny needs a break.
Tell
us about a young Jonny May. You'd have been an old, gnarly, weather-beaten centre.
He looked like that when he started his career.
Yeah, I know.
Well, actually, he had a barnet, didn't you?
Yeah, I did have a partner. Johnny came in. What year was it? Sorry to ask you a question.
Just eat your ice cream, not dread.
2008, 9?
2009 made my debut.
2009. And we'd had a little bit of a run from 07, 08, 09, and then you get someone like Johnny who came in along with Tins and
Freddie Burns.
Yeah, Freddie. So it was like a new crew, but as much as Johnny is what you hear from him, and he was always like that. His ability, fitness games, one-on-ones, speed. You look at that, because Charlie had probably been the quickest thing we'd had for a long time. Sinbad was a bit of everything, fast, but could move,
Elusive.
could do anything, and he was Johnny came in very similar to Sinbad, but in a different build, way taller, skinnier, longer stride length. And we got to the point where he could do something on the field that no one else could do. Him and Sinbad were quite unique in that. And it was always like one of those things where I was always sort of about defence, protecting ends, and just making sure we managed our sort of tacticals of getting out and everything. Apart from when it came to Johnny, our rule with Johnny in our good old days were, Johnny, you just run, and our job is to make sure we get back for the time it doesn't go right, because the time it does go well, it leads to a try. And
So he had his own game plan.
The best, yeah.
Always
But
had his own
it
game plan.
It was a game plan for Johnny, because don't take away his strongest thing, which is broken field running, where he gets to run at people and do whatever he wants to do. But sometimes he'll get caught because he'll run up his own arse occasionally.
Or sideways.
Or sideways.
That was a good
but
one.
then that was our own point to that. We just got to make sure we get back. And, case in point is probably the best try he scored was up at Edinburgh. I think you beat 15 people and you beat 4 twice.
Yeah.
It was, but
yeah.
I remember where he's sort of one of those where, as you're trying to support him, you've run past him once and he's bounced and gone back the other way. You've got to run backwards, and then he ends up finishing it in the corner. And there's not many players, if any, that I've seen with that ability. Because normally it comes, if someone beats a lot of people, it comes with a bump or it comes with a handoff. Whereas Johnny generally makes people miss, and. He was, and then if you add in the other side of him, which is his due diligence side, which is why I became his training partner, because he never cut corners ever, and I knew that if I trained with him, I'd always push myself because he'd always push me.
That's a great compliment to a guy
That's nice,
10
yeah.
years younger.
Johnny's the
than you.
most professional player I've ever met.
He'd make me
That's
stretch. I never wanted to stretch, but if he was stretching, I'd feel that I was letting the side down if I didn't stretch. So you always need someone like that. Plus, you need the humour side of just having an absolute nutcase who thinks he's got a chicken trapped inside him.
Add it to the list.
Remember when under Eddie, Johnny used to chase the kick so quickly that Penny Hill training park would go down to a slope, and there'd be slopes either side. And one day, someone left a golf buggy at the end of it. And Johnny just ran so fast. And we'd basically, like Forrest Gump, you had to hold up signs, stop, Johnny, otherwise you just keep running. Just honestly, everyone thought he died. He ran full pelt into a golf buggy, into the side of it. Do you remember not looking smashed?
That's that scar there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cut his arm open. And by the end of it, with like Johnny chase, but not as hard. Or he'd fall off go over the side, catch something, fall off down the bank.
Yeah.
Mate, it was a nightmare.
How are you feeling?
50-50.
Are you?
50-50.
Do you want to carry on?
No, I do. And
Or do you like stories being told?
No, to touch on the Eddie stuff, like the kick chase and...
I want to know what happens when you went back at him.
Oh, so I just went back at him once. I was like, Eddie, I'm not a lazy winger. I do work off my wing. Watch the game at the weekend. Like, I scored a try. I got on the inside of a ball, made a line break. And he just went, I don't give a fuck, mate.
It's very interesting on Eddie because we've got Eddie's biggest fan alongside in Hask, and it's very fair to say that Eddie gave Hask the best days of his career, man of the series in Australia, got him on the Lions tour in 2017, etc.
But also on that, what you're figuring out is two very different characters.
Very different characters.
But I'm also now I am Eddie's biggest. Like, I'm not Eddie's biggest fan.
You're not, or you are?
I am. He made me twice the player.
Right, but there were parts of the relationship which were very uncomfortable.
The first testing period was really tough. Yeah.
Do you think that's why he tested you to see if you got the metal? Now you look on reflection.
So. But on that, like, he made me faster. He made me chase kicks more. He made me. Do you know what I mean? He really did test me.
Do you think he looked at you and go, "This bloke has got so much going on in his head. I'm going to get into him so much. I'm either going to break him, and he's going to turn up.
Take his thoughts out of his head.
Yeah, I'm going to push him and tell him what he needs to do, and you will prove him. No, you're systematic.
No, but he made me he made me test, like, made me make myself faster to prove things. He challenged me so hard. And then by the end, I was just so close with him. We didn't really need to talk. He was just like, go catch the ball in the air, go chase kicks, go do what you do. And it was like...
Because he loved you.
Yeah, he did. And like, he picked me all... And like, that was it, really. I had a really tough 9 months with him. And then after that, it was just like, I was Eddie's guy, really.
Because that's weird. When he started off with this, I didn't know those parts because obviously we don't necessarily share those inside. But I would have said, like you said, is that what you said? Eddie, I loved Jonny. It'd always be like Jonny May. He'd like obviously everyone loves to laugh with Jonny and at Jonny because of the madness, as you've seen. But there's always an affection because he's genuinely a lovely bloke and obviously will work as hard as he possibly can for you. That I think, a lot of times Eddie gets those tests wrong with people. He tests people and they break and they can't be put back together again. He's obviously an example of someone that did prove him wrong and come back and do it incredibly well. But also the relationship he had, he loved you, but he loved you like Jonny, but he just laughed. Good Jonny, just do that, mate, whatever you want. Jonny, sing the song. Do you know what he can also do? I've just remembered. The alphabet rap.
Aerobics, yeah.
Just give him a little bit just to show what it is like, quickly.
Alphabet aerobics, aren't it all amazing? Analytically, I assault, animate things. Broken barriers bounded by the bomb beat. Buildings are broken, basically I'm bombarding. Casually, create catastrophes, casualties, cancelling, cat's the canopies collapsing. Detonated, daily doing dough. Demonstrations, done data on the damn low. Eating other editors with each and every episode. Elevated etiquette. Furious, fat, fabulous, fantastic. Furries off, funk, felt, feeding the fanatics. Gift got great, global goods gone glorious. Getting godly in his game with the glorious.
That's right.
That's the voice.
That is unbelievable. But he did that and did Vanilla Ice. He was so basically Tins has copyrighted Jonny May.
That's a good rap, that.
Very good rap. That's unplayable, that rap. If you pull that out, you can't, I don't know how you
But not enough people know it.
No, I know. Well, he wouldn't know. He's into harpsichord music and...
I love Brahms.
I reckon there's a good chance that Jonny is a wood whittler.
Quite possibly.
You whittle some wood
a man of many talents.
Were you at good arts and crafts at school?
What hobbies have you got?
Stretching.
More stretching and stretching. Give us a blast of Rugby World Cup 2023. Because it was an extraordinary journey for you.
Amazing.
Originally you were on the outside, and yet you ended up playing the most minutes of any England player.
I don't know if that's quite
true.
2023 Six Nations, Steve rings me up at about... They tend to do it just before you go to bed. Obviously to stop you sleeping.
Just give you nightmares.
Yeah, just to stop you sleeping. He rings me up. I'm going to try and talk a little bit quieter, just try and preserve my voice. He rang me up and he said...
Gets overwrought. Do you reckon he says it before bedtime, so he sleeps soundly because he's got it off his chest?
Then.
Yeah.
Interesting that. Clive used to do it first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So you start the day unburdened.
Basically, he said he's going with Hassel Collins and Malins and Anthony, and he said he was going on carry power. And like I was like, to be fair, Steve, I understand. Like last season, I didn't touch the ball on the wing for Gloucester. But I said, like, you know what I can do. I said, like, if you've actually watched my games, like, my kick chase has still been good and my defence has been good. But, like, I can't compete with, like, Cade and Murley and Hassel Collins, what they were doing. I just could, like, if I'm not touching the ball, I can't compete. So I said, listen, I said to Steve, go have a look at those guys. It's do you know what I mean? If they're better than me now, like, they take it. Have a look at them, see how they go. I'm ready to go whenever. And I was sort of like okay with it at that point. And anyway, like I said to him at the World Cup first day, we sit down, we have our debriefings, and I was like, listen, I've just had my baby boy Jackson like 2 weeks ago. I'm coming in. I said, like, listen, you've had a look at those new young wingers. They're great players, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they'd say it themselves. They probably didn't grab it with both hands, their opportunity. I'll come in, I'll train, I'll do everything, but I just want a game. Just give me one game, because this is my last crack at it. I'll do the whole preseason, give me a game, and I'll show you what I can do in this New England. Like, and if I'm not good enough for it, then that's fine as well. Like, I'm going to stop. He sat me down on the Monday morning, and he said, so Jonny, as it stands, you're not playing this weekend against Wales away. That was the first game. And I thought, oh, okay, brilliant. I'm obviously in the World Cup squad then, because I said first day, I want a game. He surely wouldn't not give me a game. And then he said, and you're not in the 33 for the World Cup either. He said, and to be fair, he said on day one, actually, it was Anthony, Elliot and Fred. And I was like, fair enough, like, if that's what it is, that's what it is. So there was 2 spots to fight for. And obviously there was like 10 other wingers in camp, so it was like Hunger Games, the cannon firing at the end of the week and somebody getting whizzed off the WhatsApp group. Actually, I want to go watch the new Hunger Games.
Good. I like sometimes keep your inner monologue to set, like, you know, ideas. Let them just yeah.
What is it, District 12? Yeah. Maybe I can just whistle for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, we could do that. New content.
So anyway, then he said, he said first choice is Anthony, Elliot and Fred. And he said 4th choice is Joe Cockanasinga because of his carry power. 5th is Max Malins because he's ball player like Elliot. 6th is Henry Arundel because of the X factor off the bench, and then you're sat at 7th place. And at that point, I was like, my chimp came out. I was like, I completely disagree with what you're saying. He said, but let me get this clear. You're a starter, so if Anthony or Elliot gets injured, you come in and start. So I said, so then I was like, wow. I was like, so I've done 10 weeks of like horrendous. Like, I've done every bloody rep against these young guys, like who are 10 years younger than me. I've done all the reps. The only one I can't like that's something I've noticed, which I can accept, and I'm more than like impressed by and embrace. But I'm probably within like 2% still physically of my best. But like Tins would say, like the next generation of guys, they do come through, and they are just like upgrades. People like Zam and Henry, they're just quicker than anything I've ever been. But like beyond those two, like, I was keeping up with everybody else.
Is Henry Arundel really fast?
Yeah, very, very fast, yeah.
Oh, really? Well, faster than Jonny May in his prime?
Faster than a young Jonny May in his prime, same as Zam. So there's, what can you do about that? You just got to embrace that. But other than those two, like, I'd keep up with all the other guys, and like I was training bloody well. So I said, let me get this straight. On your list, I'm 7th choice, but I'm actually 4th choice. And he went, yes. And I was like, wow. And then I went on about like the game plan and how I suit the game plan and blah de blah. But that was it really. And then like I went up to the gym, came back down, sorry about this, came back down and basically asked for another chat. And I said, I want to go home. I said, like, why am I here this week? I'm not playing. My son's at home. I'm not going to the World Cup. What am I doing here? He said, you're here because if something happens, you're straight in. And it doesn't look good if you leave and then I have to call you back in. So then I was like, oh, okay. And glad I stuck at it, really, because then Anthony got an injury. I start against Fiji. And then I go off to the World Cup. And then, like, to his word, like, I was a starter. So then I started in basically all the games.
So, Jonny, having said all that about this year's World Cup, how do you sort of square the circle with regards to a team that came in low confidence? I imagine certainly not firing at all the shots that they wanted to, being pretty buffeted by the media, and then you come out in 3rd. What was the key to all of that?
I mean, like you said, the summer series couldn't have really gone any worse. We had losses injuries, red cards, losses.
You said that.
Did I say that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Injuries.
it's like
Well,
dodgeball.
Couple of red cards.
That's how much he sticks out.
Dodge. We had more than one loss though. So.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well, you've got to say it a few more
Dodge,
times
duck,
first.
dip. Was it dodge,
Clicking my
duck,
toes.
dip, dive, and dodge?
Dodge.
Yeah. Loss,
But no, I
injury,
think
red card, loss.
we'll go back to it. It was just news, and we'll touch on that. Maybe that can be our closing.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
So you're
Closing piece.
now directing this podcast.
Yeah,
aren't you?
yeah. I'm part of the team now.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play rugby anymore
Yeah.
at all. Just going to sit here on the podcast. No, so I think it made the lads. There was a group we called. I don't know why it was called the Verona Group, but because we went to Verona for our tour pre-season. Essentially, the lads got hold of it. We got out to France, drew a line under it. The players got hold of it.
Who is in the Verona group?
I'm on the WhatsApp group still. I need to leave it, but the 10 like Coley. I won't be able to remember everybody. Coley, Manu, Genji, Courtney, Lenny, Owen, me. I replaced Anthony. Anthony was in it. Elliot, Jamie George, Marrow, Marla. So there's maybe 11 or 12 of us, basically the most senior guys. And we sat down and we made a point of sitting down once or twice a week. What do we need? Where are we at? What do we need to drive? What do we need to be aware of? What are we going after? And it just got us, we became quite tight. But essentially it was just us getting hold of it, how it should be, player led.
And then that's delivered on the field.
Yeah, and then we got it going. Like, we probably, if you look at the circumstances of where we're at, we get a new coach in, like very shortly before a World Cup. We're not, the team is, we don't know what the team is, because Steve hasn't had enough time to work out what his team is yet. We're working out the new way of playing. We're low on confidence. We're not got any momentum going in. We have a horrid time in our warm-up games. So that was quite, in a weird way, like, we get out there, well, it's quite refreshing. The pressure's completely off. Nobody expects us to do anything. We actually had, this was something brilliant that Wiggy did, Richard Wigglesworth. We had social media Mondays. So we actually made a joke of like all the crap that was being said about us, and just laughing about it. So
Compare it to your own ability.
Yeah, so like,
it's like mean tweets.
Like people's, like, I won't say who they were or what, but like this guy's saying this and we just laughed.
Was it journalists and Britain
Journalists, ex-players.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everything. And we just have a right
Did
laugh
either of
about
these
it.
two
Did
feature?
we make any of it?
No.
thank God for
You're
that.
pretty reasonable.
Still power of the people.
So yeah, that was empowering. We got hold of it.
Can you think of one quote that you remember off the top of your head that
Don't
weren't
say
attributed
it.
to someone?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Do you remember one though?
Oh, I remember some of them. Yeah,
Yeah, but don't say who it was. Just say the quote.
It won't be that hard
Oh,
to
it would have
figure
been
out,
it would
will
have been about kicking the ball or this or like boring this and the no, like all just this.
Did anyone rhyme with Rugby?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So social media Mondays, we get hold of it. We cut everything else out. We focus inwards, and essentially we did as well as we possibly could do. That's why I feel so grateful and fortunate to be able to retire on my terms at the end of a campaign where I really digged in. I felt like I contributed. I feel connected to that team who are going to go on now towards the next World Cup. We did ourselves proud. We proved some people wrong, and we did it in a bit of a scrappy, mucky way. But that's how we got it done. And to push South Africa within a point is probably one of the best games for England, even though we lost, I've ever been a part of.
Really? Was it an easy decision to retire? Did you know? Was there a trigger point as to why you've retired? And are you happy with your lot?
No, like no regrets. Even like the injuries or the losses, the times you've been dropped, like I just wouldn't change any of it.
Really?
It's like matured my soul. It's just that was my journey. I put some of my best rugby out on the pitch for England. I really gave it everything, and the World Cup was always like that end point. Like I said, I can recognise now a new wave of players coming in who are going to take the game forward. But I still knew that, like, actually, if we get to a semi-final or a quarter-final, if I'm the coach, I'm probably going to picked myself at this moment in time probably the right guy just to do it for now, to get the job done. And now I just feel like I've got a great relationship with people like Henry and Freddie Stewart and those young guys, and to have been part of that team and to finish it off in such a way is just, I just feel so positive about it all.
Who are you most excited? Sorry, who are you most excited about out of those winners?
Oh well, that's what's so interesting is, but I think Henry. I'll mention, like, I never want to come in to the meet. Not that I am in the media world.
We just signed up to the podcast. Just told us you were presenting it.
Maybe I might. Maybe I sit
under
over,
review currently.
Yeah, maybe I sit over
issues.
there.
Okay.
No, like the reality is that there's maybe 8 off the top of my head amazing new talented young wingers. But like 2 of them have got to grab it and get hold of it. Who is that going to be? They've got to go and do it. Like, of course, Henry is one of them. You've got Caden Murley, you've got Hassel Collins, you've got Radwan, you've got Tommy Freeman. I don't want to miss anybody. You've still got Joe Cockensinger. Anthony Elliott are going to hang around for a bit longer. You can see those guys being like the senior winger and helping those guys through. But not all of them are going to make it. But they've all got a chance. 2 of them have got to grab it, go make it theirs.
This has been this is exactly the show we wanted it to be, which is, and actually what I feel now.
Less than throat clearing, I would have thought.
I'm sorry to everybody.
Perhaps.
Involved.
No, they'll probably edit it out.
My sadness is that I don't think England rugby has seen as much as they should have done. They should have known far more of the character that you are.
That was intentional from
my
you.
Part.
Yeah, cool.
Why?
I just, there's so much.
Do you know how empowering it'd be if you just be yourself and obviously but you're slightly over there,
autistic.
Spectrum-y.
Yeah.
So you're very comfortable with it.
I am now, but like I don't want it. I want to just stretch, do my job,
but you don't
chase
have
my
to
kicks.
You don't have to want it.
I don't want to be
hide it away.
I'll be honest. Like I probably am very sensitive. Like I still wouldn't now. I don't read my comments. I don't read the newspapers. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know it. I can feel like, even though some are serious, you could feel the vultures. Not necessarily on me, but like you can just feel it. I wouldn't want to say anything that would draw any more attention to myself or pressure on myself than I put on myself already.
So you thought you'd come on Good Bad Rugby and reveal all of it?
Well, I'm free now. I'm free from that particular. I'm still, obviously, nothing changes in terms of. I still want to be a student of the game. Like, I'm always looking ways I can recover better, or be a little bit faster, or be a student of the speed, a student of the game, be the best possible player I can be until I finish playing, which will probably be in maybe 2 more seasons or something. Nothing changes, but the pressure of what a privilege it is to play for your country, but it comes with a weight on your shoulders. Like, I've just picked up a 2-week ban for headbutting Ollie Lawrence accidentally. I'd be if I was playing 4 years ago, I'm thinking, oh my God, I've got to 2 more wingers are going to go and do it. Like, I just kill they're going to take my spot and I can't play now. Christmas, you're thinking about Six Nations. I can make a plan for Six Nations now. Like I'm just not. It's just I can watch other Premiership games and not be like, oh God, that winger's doing this. Like that winger's doing that.
Do you feel liberated having retired?
100%. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah.
And what's very interesting about that is when you talk about the character you were 4 years ago, and you've touched on a little bit in your relationship with Eddie. How did you handle the pressure and the constant scrutiny and the constant comparison and the constant sort of having to be at your very best all of the time?
Yeah, I just like I still do now because it's habitual, but I just lose myself in my preparation. I'd walk around with my stopwatch all day. I'd stretch. I'd do this. I'd do that. Just lose myself in my prep, so that by the time I got to the game, there's nothing more I could have done. It's going to unfold. It's beyond me now. And then I'd just be very, very critical after every game. Still now, it's not what I did well. It's what could I do better.
You ever done therapy? You've done therapy?
I've spoken to numerous psychologists.
And they only did therapy after that?
Yeah, they didn't last long. None of them.
Really?
No, I have spoken to a few people. David Priestley, they've got in England now. I don't know if you guys know. He's one of Stephen's allies, but no, had chats with him. I love chat. Any opportunity. I'm always a sponge. I want to chat to people, learn, grow.
Jesus Christ!
This is a strange couch.
You reckon?
Well, I've now got. Part of the cushion's gone up there again, Johnny.
But I always said when I when I finished in 2011 playing for England, I said it's so much easier and so much better for you, and I really enjoyed the next 3 years that I played at Gloucester, and probably played arguably better than I had played for ages, because you just focus on one job. You don't have to worry about what's coming around the corner, what I have to plan, where I need to be, and you just focus on one thing.
And I think
goes to back to what me and Hask talk about as well, in terms of less games for players, more a better season for players.
But that's exciting and liberating for me as well. I'm thinking, hang on, I'm not going to go into a Six Nations and come back screwed. I'm going to get like a few weeks off. I can sharpen up here, do that there, and less pressure, play a bit more freer. So I
wouldn't make any plans past tomorrow, mate, with the way you're going down.
Not at this rate.
I wouldn't rent a library book or borrow a video.
No way.
Should we do some quickfire? Because I'm conscious that
quickfire.
What I think people should remember out of this is that 78 caps, you are the second top try scorer for England of all time in 36. 2 Six Nations titles, World Cup final, World Cup bronze. You are one of the most prolific players of the modern game. No bones about it. So, quickfire, best game you ever played for England?
Probably maybe like, I'm going to say Ireland away 2019.
Yeah.
Like I did get a try, but it was just Elliot put me away. But like that's sort of something that I've really explored and judged myself and held myself to account on, like my high ball, my kit chase, and my edge defence. In that game, like we battered them in the air. We kicked it in behind them. I chased after everything. They were like we had no chance going into that game, and we beat them well. That was one of those games where you can on the wing have a really big impact on the game without touching the ball. A little bit like the semi-final against South Africa. Those are games that although the outside world don't, because it's not going viral or getting clicks or getting all the plaudits, but those games where you can have a big impact on the game without really touching the ball, those are the sorts of games that I'm most proud of.
Best try you scored for England?
There's just like all of them have just been so special. Like I know I mentioned earlier about being out for 10 months, playing 2 games, coming in first touch of the ball, scoring in the corner. Like that is just insane. But that's just like a race to the corner. Then after the World Cup campaign just gone, sorry.
Get that cushion out
What
again.
Steve, what I went through mentally to just hang in there and stick at it to get a game against Fiji. My little baby boy's in the stand. I catch the ball. I score a try against Fiji. That's just so special. My first try against New Zealand, special. I remember away third test in
South Africa.
Sippy put the kick through. Like I think we'd lost 5 games in a row. I score then, I go absolutely, but that's like another amazing. So they're like all special ones, but probably the best technical, like probably my best finish is probably in 2 actually of them are in lockdown / COVID times. Yeah, the Italy finish was is a good finish.
That when you dive,
Yeah.
I like
Pole
jump over
vaulted.
him, yeah. Pole voltage, yeah.
And the Ireland game.
Yeah, and then the Ireland game, like because that just has a bit of it, like an outside break, and then even though it's a bit of a spewed kick off the left, it should have gone straighter. But that's probably the good try as well.
Okay, have a drink. Best mate or mates in the game?
Fordy, George Ford. Just like
Did you thank him in your
retirement?
I
did personally.
That's interesting.
Do you know what? He's the sort. I'm so glad I did as well, because he doesn't get the credit he deserves for somebody who is so incredibly talented. Whenever he plays, he's unbelievable. The impact he has on the squad, on the team, the running of the team, the culture, the standard, the knowledge. He just like. Even when he's not playing or he's on the bench or not even in the 23 sometimes, if he's on the training pitch and helping the team prepare, he deserves a lot of credit for everything he's done in any team he's played in, and particularly England.
Didn't you do the commute together when you were at Leicester? Do you remember? Did you burn his house or something like that?
I spilt a curry on his rug.
Right.
Bought him a new rug.
How long did that sit with you? How long did you freak out over that, Bon?
He is OCD, by the way, like
Right.
clean freak.
So the two of you must go together very well.
And I'm fine. Like on a cleanness scale, I'm like a 7, but he's like an 11 out of 10.
right.
But no, like that was to be able to be so close to George, go to Leicester, play with him, be with him at England. Like I've used him as a resource and become best friends with him as well. So to be able to pick his brains from somebody like Tins says, who basically came on the scene at Gloucester and just ran across the pitch. He taught me how to become try my best to become an intelligent rugby player who understands the game.
Coach that got the best out of you, club or country?
Yeah, Eddie. Like I said, he put me through hell for 9 months, but he challenged me, and and I'm not saying it's right or wrong either, because he'd probably say it himself. He's pushed boys. I've seen what he's done to other boys, and it hasn't got the best out of him either. But I found a way. It's a sink or swim. I found a way to swim. And like I said, after a terrible knee injury, I come back, find a way to become quicker, chase kicks, like all those foundation things I talk about, the kick chase, the high ball, make that a fundamental foundation of my game. And then score tries when the opportunities are given to you.
Best captain you played under for sort of team environment and what they created?
Do you know what?
Club
No,
or
I've actually got
country?
a good answer to this. I think the England environment was at its best when Dylan was captain.
He was the best captain.
Because he was what's Dylan like? He's just a great guy. He was he led by example. He took on a lot of stuff, and then beneath him, then you have 40 running the attack. You have people like Hask contributing to breakdown. You have Faz as a defensive leader. Not any one person taking too much on. And Dylan dealing with Eddie and dealing with like all those other things and the media and all those things. In that period of time, we went 18 unbeaten or something. So that off the top of my head, that worked well. That did work well.
The opponent who challenged you or pissed you off the most?
The most difficult wingers to play is still speed. Like speed, somebody who's really, really fast and can change direction quickly is a nightmare. Even though I feel like I'm a fast guy. I think back to how I thought about playing when we played the quarterfinal against Fiji, and it was Semi Radradra I'm up against. I'm like, well, yeah, he is a freak, but like I'm just going to chuck my head in the spokes or throw my body in front of him, and hopefully I slow him down and somebody will jump on him and we'll get him down. But then the next week, you play against something like Chesney Colby, that's different, because if they go on the outside, they check you, they go, you've got to sprint, and unless you get your angle just right, they're going to cut you back on the inside. That's very, very difficult to defend. But lucky to the nature of that game, the way we played and the tactic we had, we just went after them in the air and caused them hell.
How would you like to be remembered as an England international?
I'm honestly more than happy just to drift away quietly.
Not that quietly, is it? Not
No,
coughing
not-
and spluttering as you go. Yeah, good. Get it out.
Yeah, no. How do I want to just? All that really matters to me is the opinions of the people I played with. Hopefully, they just thought, "Oh, I'm a good guy to take the field with. I'm going to give it my best in the week. I'm going to rip in at the weekend. And I'm going to be a good guy to be around. As long as like my teammates think that, we're all going to end up dead or buried, and the sun's going to explode, and who cares?
Profound.
And it's just news.
Exactly.
Just news. Can you please explain where the just news philosophy comes from?
So, like,
Did Hazy play a role in this?
no, it was basically I did my PCL, which is the ligament at the back of your knee. It was meant to be like a 4-week injury. It took me 16 weeks. I ended up being put in isolation, didn't I? Because so basically the head coach couldn't understand why I couldn't.
Which head coach?
Nigel Davis at Gloucester couldn't understand why this 4-week injury was taking me 16. I couldn't sprint, like I could do and I said, I'm like, not the famous thing I said was I'm 97% fit. So the lads are like, all the older boys are like, I haven't been 97% fit for. So like that really ruffled everybody up. But what I meant by that is that I can do everything except the second I start to sprint, I can't sprint. So the head coach couldn't understand as to why this 4-week injury is taking 16 weeks. So, and I did I've touched on it like in jokingly, but there are times in your career where I was definitely depressed, anxious, down, stressed. This is one of them. I'm like, well, why can't I'm meant to be 4 weeks? So I was pretty down, pretty toxic, not in a way like Nick, but like you could see my mood.
Full Sappuccino.
Yeah, my mood was like dark. So they decided that what was best for me was to come in at like 6 o'clock and leave at 7:30, and then the boys come in and do their day, and I would come back at 4 o'clock and finish at 7 o'clock. Sorry, mic close to the mouth. So like, and Hartley was flooded, wasn't it? So basically, like on the way back from when the boys are coming in around the back from training, I was driving away. So like all the boys would find that really quite funny. And then when the boys were leaving, I would pass them in the traffic on the way back. And there's another thing, but I was in my smart car, which was wrapped in Andy Hazel's Smart Home Solutions thing. So that was all part of the joy of it. But anyway, I had time in the depth. So then I became a little bit nocturnal. I was very isolated. I was on my own in the morning, evening, and in the day. But then this is where I picked up this Buddhism book. And basically the story, and it's something that has stuck with me throughout my career and has certainly helped me when things aren't going well or when things are going well. Sorry. So anyway, the story goes along the lines of this. There's basically the characters of the story. You've got the farmer, the farmer's neighbour, and the son. So anyway, the farmer's got a horse. He uses the horse to plough his field. He's got the plough, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, it's time to plough. It's that time of the year. It's time to plough. The horse runs away. The neighbour comes across, says, mate, like that is shocking timing. Like you're just about to plough your field and your horse has run away. I'm really sorry. That is bad news and I'm sorry. But the wise farmer says, oh, no, it's not good or bad news. It's just news. Anyway, 2 days later, the horse returns. But not only has it returned, it's brought some horses from the wild. So now they've got 3 horses. The neighbour comes across to the farm. He says, listen, like, I was wrong. I thought that was bad news. Like, how are you going to plough your fields? But now you're going to be able to plough more fields and quicker. You've now got 3 horses. This is just brilliant. This is good news. The wise farmer would say, no, sorry, this, again, like, you're not right. It's not good or bad news. This is just news. So then anyway, the son of the farmer then needs to train these wild horses to plough the field. And in the process of training these horses, he falls off and breaks his leg. So then obviously we know what's coming. The neighbour comes across to the farm and he's like, I actually thought that was good news, mate, but I was wrong again. Like your son, he's got a bloody broken leg. That is just so bad. Like, I'm very, very sorry for you. Anyway, the next day, there's wartime coming. The army is coming down the road to recruit all young males. And the son ends up not being able to go to war because he's got a broken leg. But that's basically the story. But it is very much in life, like, or in rugby, you think you've nailed it and you think it's good, but then it comes back to be a bad thing, or vice versa. Like, you think it's terrible news, maybe it's the best thing. Like, even for me, just with this World Cup, I'm thinking, bloody hell, I'm 7th choice, but I'm 4th choice. What's going on? This is bad news. Next minute, I tell him that I'm going to stay and train. I hang in there, and it becomes good news. I end up going to a World Cup, mucking in, contributing, feeling really connected and positive about a team, and being able to retire in a good spot. And now I'm sat on the sofa losing my voice on the good bad rugby, and it's just news again. I don't know what's going to happen on the way home.
Yeah, right. I've just realised, well, you look like Borat
or Freddie Mercury.
Yeah,
more Borat.
I'm pretty sure Freddie Mercury had a better voice.
I'm embarrassed, guys, about the.
But you know, you finished strongly, Johnny, and that is testament to you.
And that's testament to like the ability just to hang in there and adapt.
Yeah. We've had tears, snot, phlegm. We've had. This has been the most emotionally draining podcast I think we've ever done.
I'm sorry.
Can you imagine playing with
But you know what?
It was brilliant.
Absolutely loved it. And the genuine takeaway here is I think we've probably scratched about 2 or 3% of the stories you could go.
We could go.
Can we do this again sometime?
No, we could do another episode on the.
Can you not eat right now? I know we've been doing this for 4 hours.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Right.
With this going on. I'm going to gob it.
Right.
Okay.
I need a piss.
Can we wrap this up?
I would like to do another episode on the antics of the COVID 2020 20 Six Nations. My
Okay.
goodness God.
Okay,
Can
that's a story
tell
that
you
we'd
what
like
we
to
can
do.
do, right? I've got an idea concept because you can't last longer than 17 minutes. Why don't we do Jonny May shorts? Could we do a little
Well, they're not
short
that short, though. They're
Well,
four-
it's fine. But 20
a
minutes
4-hour
max.
record.
We'll come and find you. We'll just call you up and go, right, Johnny, go one story. That's all you deliver. We'll do it.
Send him the kit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can you do that? One story?
Am I getting a job at Good Bad Rugby?
Let's not
Would
go-
you like
Is
a
that
job?
one of my options?
It's-
It
Is that
is-
going in my
yeah,
notes?
it's
Yeah,
definitely
we'll put it
open.
out to a fan vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would
Have
you
you
like
guys
to do the
enjoy-
honours?
have you
'Cause
guys
everyone-
enjoyed
He
me?
might need this. I mean, this,
Yeah.
What is
we
this
should-
now?
Well, Johnny, since we have been doing this podcast, like
Podcast.
What's a
Podcast.
What is
No one has
podcast?
to speak, breathe.
Okay, it's a podcast for everybody else. Johnny comes in, it's a podcast.
Yeah.
Great.
So since we've been doing this podcast,
Yes.
we
Testicles.
have had good times, bad times.
And just
Oh, we've
times.
just times, as you would like to say. But in that time, we have created our own gin, and it's about fighting adversity. I think there's no one who better explained it on any of our podcasts than you have. So it's a great pleasure that you've been on there.
Do you know what? I would say not out, but because it's not an open
It's
vessel,
not,
You're
I
fine.
don't
fine.
need
No, you
to.
don't need to.
There you
Thank
go.
you so much. My dad drinks a gin and tonic.
Do you drink?
No, only from,
Try it. It's very good
It's,
for your
if
voice
I drink,
box.
it's
Only
a
on
means
Team
to an end.
Social, isn't it?
Right.
Right.
Like once
Team
or twice
socials
a year.
you'll do.
Team socials, like once or twice. I'll do it. Go hard, probably be sick, end up in bed quickly,
Right.
naked with a shaved head sometimes. But no, I don't like to do it too often. It's just not good for anything I'm about.
Right. This has been a remarkable episode of The Good, the Bad and the Rugby. Johnny, thank you very much to you for coming in. We must do this again sometime.
there-
With a bit
yeah.
more preparation, voice box training,
Yeah,
plenty of liquids at all.
liquids, ice cream,
Points,
Can
ice
hot
cream.
drinks,
Tom, if we can put
strepsils.
together some
polos.
specific training for him, we know we'll take
Yeah.
it seriously.
Yes.
And to the extreme that he'll come back and he literally
Do it in a
will be a tenor.
hyperbaric chamber in a disease. You'll be
Yeah.
like the kid in the bubble or whatever that, the bloke in the iron lung. What's the movie? The guy can't deal
What
with
is
the
that
atmosphere.
kid in the bubble?
It's a
That
movie,
is the
isn't
thing,
it?
isn't it?
Yeah,
He was in a
let's-
bubble. Oh, he had a
let's-
bad immune system,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
put him in a
Yeah.
bubble.
Let's ponder this after we've wrapped up the
Oh,
show,
sorry,
because I
I've
think
got it.
everyone listening and watching wants to go at this point.
Yeah.
Black Eyed Gin available from Amazon, Selected Sainsbury's and Master of Malt. We are raising money. Every bottle, £1.50 goes into the Black Eyed Rugby Fund, which is going to be looking after players of the future. Jonny May is a new ambassador, despite the fact he doesn't drink.
I'll be back eye.
We have
Black
been
eye.
We have been The Good, the Bad and the Rugby, together with our very good friends at Continental Tires. Thank you for your continued support. We'd love to see you next week if you fancy it. We're a Folding Pocket production. Stats and facts provided by Oval Insights. This episode was produced by Tom Edwards. Best of luck with the editing. Bye for now.
Thank you.